Remember to use the hashtag MondaySpecialKE, and thank you for writing into us. Reverend Joya, I want to start with you. You were well aware of what was happening during that window of change when Kenya's independence was coming to be in 1963. In your view, if the people who fought for Kenya's liberation then were to wake up today, do you think they'd be happy with what they see?
Yes, we have two categories of people who fought for independence. The one actually who fought on the battlefield, and the one, the elite, who went to Lancaster to receive a constitution negotiated behind our backs. And this constitution was written by Mackenzie, a British professor from Lancaster University. From Manchester University. And presented to the government and accepted as the document to be tabled for discussion. And that document was not added or used by Kenyans because the Maasai wanted it to be added that the 1904 and 1910 treaties be revoked. They were refused, so they went home. They demonstrated. The people of NFD wanted also their issue to be discussed, and it was not tabled, so they went home. So I'm saying that Kenyatta and others said that they were made that constitution as time go on. So when they came back, and they thought they would have made it in a way, or not have made it in a way they would implement the values for which people fought for. They differed, and Kagia and Oneko were taken to detain for remaining faithful to the purpose for which independence. So they were the first detainees after immediately, and they were the part of the Kapenguria 7.
Yeah.
So
7, yeah.
I am in that vein. I am a Kagia and Oneko all my life, and you know Ogega also said we are not at Uhuru.
Yeah.
And you know Ari Mazuri diagnosed the government and said Kenyatta is the first colonial governor.
Okay.
All those issues show that we need different values which Oneko and the Kagia stood for.
All right. Let me just jump straight to another question before I move on to the other panelists. As a church minister in your day, especially during the fight for multi-party politics, one of the things that put you in trouble was talking or criticizing the government at the time, especially in church. In fact, I want to see if we can run some of the pictures just regarding exactly what it is that you went through at that time, because you were fighting for our liberation. You were fighting for democracy in the country. I want to run some of the pictures now and want you to tell me exactly, there are the pictures. What do you remember about this time, Reverend Joya, and what it is that you went through, the pain, the struggle? How does it feel when you look at that right now?
It's a small price to pay. Women do go to maternity again and again to give birth to a child. That was birthing a new Kenya for me. So it was no different, me on the streets and a woman on a maternity ward.
Yeah.
So what I do remember is that was not the first time. That was the third time I went to the ICU for 3 days.
You went to the ICU for 3 days?
One time was 1977 during Kenyatta's time for saying Harambee and the government is the ideology of the Kikuyu middle class. And I was attacked and I was chopped. You can see I lost 3 fingers. They were sewn back. And that was in 1977. And then 1999 at All Saints Cathedral. You know, I was brutalized, left dead, taken to to Nairobi Hospital, and then I woke up after 3 days in ICU. So all these times for me was birthing a new Kenya.
Okay.
I was shedding my blood as Jesus shed his for me.
Okay.
And for Kenyans.
All right. I want to come back in a bit and ask you how worthwhile you feel it was, if you feel it was worth it. But let me move on to Josephine Kulea, child rights activist. You've been able to achieve quite a lot for your community. You've rescued a lot of girls in Samburu from early marriages. You've now been recognized by the United Nations as the UN Person of the Year. We're talking about patriotism and national values. For you, what is it that drove you to want to see a change in your community, especially at such a young age?
Okay, for me, a value basically is something good, something worth, and something you would want to see happen. And growing up as a Samburu girl in a village, watching my own classmates, like age mates, getting through our own harmful cultural practices, like the child marriage. You come back to school the next term, half of your classmates have been married off. Then I started asking myself questions, like why? So I got to leave my village. I went to a boarding school away from my community, and in that school it was different because it was a different community. Would come back and find the class is still full. So I asked myself questions. I was like, what is happening to my people? Something is wrong. So that is when I felt, well, there's something I need to give back.
Did your community embrace it, or were sections of your community fighting it and saying, why are you trying to do away with something that's ours?
It's a real battle because these are traditions that have been there for years. Our community feel it's their culture. Okay, it's our practice. Why should you bother? Why now? We've been doing it, but we tell them things change. You know, time has come. We have to embrace change, and these are things that have been passed by time. And it's a battle because we have resistance all over. Right from the community, even to some leaders. So for us, we feel we have to fight it because we want to be the change that we want to see in our community.
And you are the change you want to see. I think hearing the two of you before I move on to Honorable Wario, I guess it's safe to say that, you know, anything good has to come with a fight, really, to be able to see the fruits of a vision and passion come to life. And I think that's what I'm hearing from the two of you. We've just seen what you went through, Reverend Joy, and just yourself, that you're constantly going through it to make sure your vision comes to light. Honorable Wario, I want to move on to you. With your ministry, first of all, what do you envision are our Kenyan values? When you hear that term, Kenyan values, what is it that comes to mind?
I think if I look at what we suggested in the Heroes Bill, for instance, there are several elements we're looking at. We're looking at selflessness, a person who gives more than he asks for. And that almost is measured by ultimate patriotism. You're committed to your country. You do things for your community, out of your way, like a friend here has done. Then there's the issue of integrity. Are you an integral member of a community? Are you an integral member of the Kenyan society? Do you bring good things? Or are you tainted? Or what are you? And then there's the issue of unique characteristics. Is there something about you that is outstanding? It can be in sports, you break all the records, and you take, like you said, our rugby team takes us up there, or it could be an athlete like Rudisha. It can be leadership. You do something unique that changes your society and so on and so on. So there are quite a collection of values that you can pull together to identify some. And
this is what you want to recognize when going into the passing of the Heroes Bill. Yes. I want to also bring in Reverend Joy and ask a question, and your opinion on whether you think the people who fought for Kenya's independence, the people who also played a part in fighting for multi-party politics, yourself included, do you feel as though those people have been appreciated by the government, whether it's in terms of compensation? If, for instance, you were in ICU, or we look at the Mau Mau veterans, many of who don't even have medical care, and it's been such a struggle for them. So do you feel as a sense of you've been appreciated for your efforts, or are you still disappointed to date?
I think you cannot call a hero or a heroine anybody who fights for a view to have a regime change, so have to have turned to rule or turned to it. I wasn't looking for any benefits. In fact, I'm educated, I have 2 doctorates, I can earn my living. So it isn't that I wanted any compensation or anything. I take him very seriously. For instance, in 1986, October 5, when I declared Kenya we must dismantle one-party state, and we must have a new constitution. I fought alone. I lost my job for 2 years from the church, defrocked by church 3 times because of that. That time there was nobody until 1990, when I went back on it, at it again, and I said, we have to, if we want a new constitution, we must first dismantle the one-party state. It is when I went, recruited Ogiga, gave him a Bible, and then Rovia and others came back and added the political voice, because I myself could not leave the pulpit. I was taking the pulpit to the streets in demonstrations. but I couldn't become a politician.
Right.
So I do say that if I was not looking to be compensated, it's up to Kenyans to know what to do. I didn't ask anybody to pay for my bills. My wife paid for all the 3 times I went to hospital. And it's a lot of money. It's not 200,000 or 100,000 to be in ICU in Nairobi Hospital and stay there 80 days before you leave. And all that money, nobody there is not a single church minister ordained like me. When I went there in 1999, who came to see me, they couldn't visit me out of fear to be noticed by the president or someone else. And that's why they defrocked me. You know, removed my Quran not to have the pulpit.
Wow. Okay.
But I'm saying, even when I went the next time, not a single clergyman of any denomination came to pray for me. Even the chaplains left Nairobi Hospital and ran away until I left Nairobi Hospital. Because no religious person would have accepted to be associated with a dissident activist or be but I was not an activist myself.
Yeah.
Because I was not a dissident, or I was still saved. I was only saved by the Lord Jesus Christ. I wasn't gaining anything. I was just want to do what my Lord did for me.
Okay.
Died for me.
All right.
So I'm saying it's not that we are looking to be compensated. But again, when we were honored in 2011, and I was called a hero, Mashujaa, I was given a small flag to walk before Gumo, the mayor of Nairobi, was being accused of stealing land for mortuary, to walk with a flag and greet him in front of there. And a lot of people whom we were fighting with, because we happened to be cabinet ministers and they happened to be parliamentarians. Then I thought, what is a contradiction, me being called a hero and walking with a flag and with a sheet of Maasai Red Cross cloth on me, on my shoulder, walking before people who should not have been seen in the government anyway.
Okay, I'm going to have to cut you short, Reverend. We'll come back in just a moment. I think there's a lot of ground to cover. I want to hand it back over to my colleague, Hussein Mohammed, before we come back and continue our discussion here with our panel.
Right, Janet, thanks. And before we go on, we show you our next guest. We want to show you some of his works that have had some regard him as a patriot and a hero. Let's have a look.
Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda.